So did you have a chance to look at the video by any chance? The YouTube from Nora?
I looked at it a little bit. I saw it.
What was
Pretty
the thing
good.
that, was there anything that like jumped out at you by any chance?
Um, you know what? The whole presentation. I saw a bit of it, not the entire thing. Caught it at the wrong moment when I was trying to watch it. But um, the point that she's making is that there's this is a great opportunity for us to reinvent our schools. I mean, not so much from the ground up, but utilize different resources in order to do that. Mainly in our position, National PTA School of Excellence, which that's the road that my PTSA, which is Parent Teacher Student Association by being a high school, that's the road we're taking now. We did look into National PTA School of Excellence and we did apply, but due to COVID, it shut down. It first delayed our mission, then it just pretty much shut it down. So this would be a good time to use that to reinvent and get our local unit back active.
Yeah, so to your point exactly, she started off saying that, hold on. To your point, she started off saying that basically what she observed before is that our schools, obviously, they have teachers, they have students, they have parents, nobody really connects effectively.
Mhm.
But she has said that because of this pandemic, parents are actually showing up. So because parents are here now, this is a good year. This year obviously is almost over, but we could prepare ourselves for the next year when we're all on campus. But we're on campus with this new set of knowledge. Um, your kids are too old, so you probably weren't there to watch them study. But mine, I was watching them, and I did learn a ton of things that were completely missed. Like I did not know about what made them excited or what made them stressed out. So
Mhm.
this was a cool year to be right next to them. And so I think there's a whole army of parents coming back to school with this awesome knowledge.
Yeah.
And so, to the point you were making, the National School of Excellence is an excellent framework for ability to build out the engagement with the school. And it's so much more than just a banner. So, like the when you look up online, you see that it's just a designation. You go through the motions, you get a banner. But in reality, it's a very effective way to really survey your community, find out what's the soul, the core value of your community, and to amplify it. And then in the process, you grow your membership, you grow your engagement, you energize. So I have put in the chat the link, and we'll post this also under the recording because today we're not going to go into the nitty gritty of it all, but the website does post all the details and all the information. So this, what we're doing here is more of a IKEA catalog, but if you're interested in the actual instructions to have to put together the wardrobe, you should go to that website. And also when you enroll, you receive even more details. So again, today we're not going to talk about the nitty gritty. I just want to talk about this program as a framework. So actually, you mentioned that your school was one of the enrolled. And did you guys try in the years before by any chance?
Um, from what I understand, there were like maybe I know at least 2 attempts at School of Excellence. Um, I recall at that time, I believe it was like my daughter's freshman year and sophomore year. But at that time, the membership was kind of fluctuating, and
Mhm.
I don't think we were really able to at that time, I don't believe that the actual officers had all the knowledge of School of Excellence where they could have, presented it strongly the way we have now. I mean, um, where we're at now, we're fortunate enough to have some current state board members on the board. So we're getting that information firsthand and we're taking it back to the school, like that. So at that time, I don't think it was the officers at that point were really trying to push for it. But
Mhm.
on a side note, if we did apply. Um,
So like you said, this actually shows up, and just looking at the numbers, I pulled these from the national, and
Mhm.
you're right. Illinois did not used to be much of a participant, and this is literally the very first year they've tried it was 2016. And to your
Mhm.
point, it's Greg, right? So Greg decided
Right.
to run this program. He promoted the hell out of it, and all
Mhm.
of a sudden we've gone from 4 units applying and nobody getting it to having 28 apply this year. This
Right.
this horrible complex year, actually have we doubled from the previous year.
Mhm.
So yeah, we have leadership that is really excited about it, and so the local units will have the support, because this is a program that it's not going to take care of itself. You really do have to invest, and it's hard to do, especially like you said, when there is membership, right?
Right.
Issues with membership, and there's confusion on the board. So all of those things play the factors, but I'm really hopeful. I'm just really seeing this upward trend, and hopefully we're going to continue growing exponentially.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Because even with this year, is like I say, it's been a challenge with our local unit because we wasn't in person. Um,
Mhm.
no, nothing offensive, but a lot of quite a few of our local unit members are, they're past an email or something like that. They're not really, they'll be the first to admit they're not technology inclined. So
Mhm.
um, those are the things that me and other officers have been taking note of, to
Mhm.
whereas we want to present those kind of resources to our members, teach them how to use Member Hub and teach them
Actually,
how to engage with technology. So that way with in person, because we're eventually going back in person, but with in person and technology, there's a balance of convenience, but
yeah.
we don't want our members to feel like they're shelled out because they didn't get the email on time and they didn't know how to go into Member Hub and retrieve a message past their email. So, but
I'm actually, while preparing for this, I've discovered, and I came to conclusion that I actually think maybe emails are overrated and newsletters are overrated. We're not getting the engagement. The local units aren't getting the engagement. The state isn't getting the engagement by sending out emails. And it's not just the reluctance of using the technology. It's just not an effective vehicle of communicating with people. Like, it's very difficult to connect with somebody through email message. So I actually want to talk about that in the next slide. So, um, like I said, the School of Excellence is a framework, and it includes 5 steps. You enroll, then, well, actually, it's 6. You enroll, then you do the baseline survey, you do the initial report, you submit that, then you do the final survey, and then the final report. And all throughout the year, you're doing the work. Now, I really want to dive in and unpack each one of those. So, the very first part of it is, like you were saying, it's serving the people that are in your school. And it's incredibly difficult to do if, when you survey just a small portion. For instance, if you're only serving your PTA membership and you haven't attempted to build a bridge between other systems that are in place, or if you are excluding maybe people like your neighbors and extended family because you think that they might not be invested in your school the way the students and the teachers and the principals usually are. So the first thing is to look at who you're serving. So you're saying that when you guys tried it at school, who was your audience? Who did you ask the questions? Was it the parents or it?
Well, actually, we did the parents, our base membership. We did the parents, a few faculty. It was like maybe um, 5 teachers that are actual members of PTA with us, and our principal. And we actually branched it out to a couple of school board members.
Wow,
So
that's big. How did you guys build
yeah.
that relationship with the school board?
Well, with the school board, it was just a little insight. If you've rubbed elbows enough as I've done in the last 15 years, you come to meet everybody in a small town like we have. So it was just a point of these 2 school board members are very passionate about PTA. And one of our school board members that I reached out to, his wife is actually a retired teacher that is still actively involved with the school district that she used to teach in, and she's their reflections chair. So I felt like those would be 2 easy targets that's outside of the school per se, but yet part of the community that actually hold a stake in the community, which is school board members. So it was
Yes.
it was risky, sort of, but it was an easy target, and I just went on ahead and gambled and said, hey, we would like for you to do a survey for School of Excellence. And they were familiar with School of Excellence, so they knew which way it was going. And I asked them, I said, well, just be as honest as you can with some of the questions on the survey. And everything was confidential, but I'm almost for certain that they did do it. They did do it honestly, because once we gathered all the surveys and got our information together, our goal was pretty easy to
Mhm.
pick, but yet
What was
we
your
still
goal?
wanted to make sure we wanted to be more active and involved in the arts. Um,
Excellent. And did you use
and
the reflections then as a vehicle of it for to?
reflections was our number one go-to. Um,
Excellent, excellent.
uh,
So that survey, actually, that's what is a really good point I wanted to see from you. Is that something that comes in as part of the toolbox that you get from the National PTA, or
yes,
you
yes,
create
it's
the survey?
no, the survey is already created by the National PTA.
And how many questions are on that survey?
How many questions? I
You
can't
just got
remember quite the exact number, but I'm sure it was like maybe like 10 or so.
10. Okay, so it's a manageable number,
You know
right?
what? I'm
So
trying to see if I can. Well, yeah, but it wasn't like it was a 2-page survey or anything. It was just
good.
one sheet,
Okay. That's what
with
I
the
was hoping
questions.
the answer was going
Yeah,
to be, because
yeah,
toolbox online, it seems like it's locked behind the doors until you enroll. You don't really get that material. So
right.
I wasn't sure exactly what the survey looked like. So as I was looking though for things, I was also looking at obviously our new membership thing that we're doing. And
Mhm,
you know how they changed like PTA from noun to a verb? I
mhm,
think we should also change survey and look at it beyond just a questionnaire and more in terms of a verb.
mhm,
So what I mean by it is that we actually should start thinking outside of our conventional notion that we could put a Google form together and have a mailing list and send the mailing list to people and receive 5 replies, and then use that in addition to maybe like another 8 replies from the hard copies that we were able to gather.
right.
Instead, what we could do is maybe be creative about the way those 10 questions, then the data is collected.
Mhm,
So Nora, she says that right now this year presents us with incredible opportunity. People are going to see, they've been able to see things that were always dysfunctional, and they just, this wasn't part of the conversation, but we really are seeing things now. And then also we're seeing things that really work. So basically we have two good things happening. We're having people coming back to school who are energized because they've been away, and just going back to connect, human connection is going to create this energy, and then also they're going to come in with opinions.
Right.
So this is the best year to capture those opinions and those energies. And when I say to use survey as a verb, an example would be, if you have, Darvel, what is the most attended event, like when you know that everybody shows up in your school?
At our school, oh, that's easy. Football season.
Football season. All right. So you have a football season and there's a concession stand, I assume. Is that,
Yes.
where do
Yes.
people gather? Like, where do you know there's going to be a pretty good crowd?
Um,
Or if high
well,
foot traffic, is there like a ticketing area or anything like
yeah, because we the way our stadium is set up, in order to get to the concession stand, I mean, um, where our home section is, you got to come past the scoreboard. If you're on the visitor side, you got to come past the scoreboard to get to the concession stand. So our main area is that it's like a foyer right in front of the
Nice.
concession stand. So
That's
we
that's
have the yeah, so we have the booster clubs with all of our school swag in the concession stand. So that that's typically our area
so
where we set up for everything.
when people come in, what you do is, I've seen this done at work and at like other events. You put your questions, your 10 questions from the
Mhm.
questionnaire, you put them on the giant pieces of paper, right?
Mhm.
And then whatever the answers are, if it's a multiple choice kind of thing, you give people those really small, stickies that you get for garage sale, those round
Right.
ones.
Uh-huh.
And you allow people to put their stickies to where they need. You don't give them, like, let's say if there is 10 questions and they all vary, you don't give them the full 10, because then if they have to make the choice, you challenge them, you give them like 5 stickies, and
Mhm.
they have to attach things to maybe to what are the highest priorities in your school. And then this foot traffic that is coming to go see the football game, you're harvesting it for your survey for your school of excellence. So that's your base survey. You then collect those pieces of paper. This way you are going to eliminate the issue of like people not wanting to pay attention to you, because basically no one wants to pay attention to anything that they don't have to do.
Right.
It's anybody who doesn't have access to the email or didn't see the email. They're there right there, so you find them where they're at,
Mhm.
and then you engage with them in a low tech way. And I believe that is the most effective way to gather the information from people. What what do you think about that?
I think that's a great idea. That was similar to how we did our membership drive um, the year of COVID. We camped out during registration and book pickup. We
Uh-huh.
had a table set up with everything, the member hub link, the whole bells and whistles, and we literally doubled our membership in that membership drive. So within those 3 days, um, we always had the basic 25 members to to stay to stay legal.
Yeah.
But that year, coming into that school year, by October, we were double a little bit over our usual membership. So we went at our final count that October, we had 53 members.
That's
So
awesome on a COVID year.
yeah,
That's a big deal.
yeah,
No,
and that was right. That was the year
that's
coming
where
into
you're at.
COVID. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
But like we often rely heavily on technology, and we don't think outside of the box. And when we do that, we don't allow ourselves for these awesome opportunities. And then in the situation where you're actually a live person and you're engaging, you're able to ask more in-depth questions. You're able to read a lot more information out of the person than you would just through their writing. So like one of the things that you mentioned was that some people aren't tech savvy. There are a lot of people who are not communication savvy. Like for me, it was very difficult whenever I was asked to do things in writing
Mhm.
when I was just fresh off the boat. So I wasn't participating. I had opinions, but it wasn't easy to express them. So I kept to myself. And I feel like looking at our numbers around the state, we have at least 15% Spanish speakers in most of our school districts.
Mhm.
And we have people from all over the world. My school, tremendous variety of people from speaking many different languages. So sometimes when we rely on just sending out that survey in English via email, we end up getting no engagement and we get discouraged and we assume that no one wants to better the school, no one is interested in our cause, and
Mhm.
that's just simply isn't true. We just have to be more creative about asking.
Right.
So consider using survey as a verb. Consider what action you could do, how you could survey. It doesn't even have to be an event. Sometimes there's invisible networks in all the schools. For instance, in my school, it was the room parents. So those were the parents who did not want to get involved with PTA because there was a lot of preconceived notions that PTAs basically will work you down and just too much work, it's not enough pay.
Right.
But being a room parent, it's a easy gig. You arrange a couple parties,
Mhm.
you're in the loop, you're good. So we
Yeah,
had
it was like a badge of honor for me.
that were volunteering, they were on campus, but we didn't engage them. We didn't have conversations with them. And now looking back, I realize how big of a loss that was. We could have used their network to spread our messages and to help us build all these things that we envision for our schools. I think you were going to say something.
No, no, no.
Yeah,
I
okay.
was looking at my dog. She's
Well, so speaking of the things that are part of the School of Excellence. So it's really once you survey your community, you'll find out what your school wants to focus on. And also, there's a link in the chat right now, and then I will post it on with the recording. It basically tells you that there's 7 principles that are underlying, and those are helpful North Stars to kind of help you guide you in the direction that you think your school would want to do. So Darvel, you said your school was focused on reflections. There was a school in Texas, I want to say, and their focus was on sharing the power. So for them, what they did is when their board district was looking for a new superintendent,
Mhm.
they've collected all the information on the candidates. They've posted the dates when the board was meeting to have those discussions. They invited their PTA members. They educated their PTA members about the candidates and the things that they could do in the whole decision process. So that was their School of Excellence project. There was something already happening in our school district, and they put a spotlight on it and they mobilized their community to kind of be at the table making the decision that was so important. Who's going to be in charge of your schools? Obviously, you want to know who that person is going to be. You want to be at the table talking about it. So that was their example. Another one where they were supporting the student success was in another school. Nora talks about it. It's one of her 4 points. She says we need to focus on teaching the whole student. And one of the things that that school was focused on was career and college preparedness. So what they did is their School of Excellence was organized around events that had to do either with school preparedness or career preparedness.
Mhm.
And they had done the whole work around that too. In my school, we did an international night. So this would have been a fantastic thing to use for School of Excellence. We didn't because I didn't know about it at all
Mhm.
when I was at my school. But it's a really, really good example. So we have an incredibly diverse population. So kids from all over the world. And you could tell that by like looking just at these banners. So
Yeah.
what happened was, once we decided to have this event, we talked to the principal, we talked to the teachers, we talked to the students, we talked to the parents, to the community, and to the um, extended families.
Okay.
So one of the art teachers, she had built into her curriculum for the kids to make plates with flags of their nationalities. And you'll see too that some of the flags have multiple, some of the plates have multiple flags. And that's
Okay.
because we have a lot of mixed kids. Um, but then when the project was complete, she put these banners right at the entrance. And when you walked in, that was a very powerful visual. You could tell that we are one community,
Hmm.
we are diverse, and we're inclusive. And it was just a very happy thing to walk into a school. And then when we had the international night, we had kids dancing and singing their songs from countries around the world. We had grandparents coming in with dishes for the potluck from around the world. We had people from the local businesses contributing, and also some of the parents who are also business owners for those. So it was really a fantastic way to spotlight and highlight our community. So had I known about School of Excellence, I would have used this. This would have been the goal and the way to mobilize our community.
Hmm.
And so to kind of finish it off here, I want to say that June to October, you have an opportunity to enroll. So you could watch out for any news blasts about it. You'll see information when you could start enrolling. And with that enrollment kit, you will get that survey that Dervell mentioned and all
Yep.
other details about the specifics of how you could run the program. But I
Hmm.
do invite you, when you do the baseline survey, to get really creative, because you are in a unique position right now. The kind of engagement they could harvest from the people who've been isolated for a year,
Yeah.
we we are right now are so lucky. We really should try to make the best out of the situation. So then when you have collected your information, you've decided on your goals, you could start your work, and you don't have to wait till November 15th, but it is where when your initial report is due, it's basically identifying all the things all the conversations you're going to have with your stakeholders, which are teachers, members of your community, students. You have to include students in everything you do, because Nora says this too in her talk. If we're not including kids, we're not really having any of these conversations. It doesn't really matter. Um, and then the teachers, talk to the teachers. Teachers are the people who create the platform for kids to be successful. So get everybody involved.
Mhm.
And so then when you have your initial review, your final survey could actually be just that simple. If everything goes right, your final survey could be a simple email, maybe in multiple languages, depending on your community,
Mhm.
to just ask those 10 questions just to see the improvement. And then you could put together your final report. And I'm sure if you really ask the people, you see them where they're at. Like Darvel said, go to the games, go to the STEM night. Um, that's where people are going to be at. And ask questions, not passively, but really try to listen. And the trends will reveal themselves, and you'll know what your school needs. And this could be a great project for the year to really reconnect with each other and your community. So to wrap it up, basically, we only have a little bit of time. We're first going to get in there. We're all going to be really excited. And maybe within 2 months of normal, we're all going to forget about how difficult it was to be isolated, how many ideas we had, and what was really obvious will become once again questionable. So don't waste any time. And finally, I want to say that we do have this special moment, and this is the line that really got me. It's just when the time be gone, and we want to tell our kids not only how we felt, but also what we did.
Right.
I think that is incredibly powerful. And that is all I have for us tonight. So I'm going to stop sharing now. And we could stop recording. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're good now. Good session. Good session.
Yeah. It is what it is, right? We've, I wish, yeah, we're going to learn how, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, we'll get there. We're still on the uprise. We're good.
Yeah. All right. You have a good night.
All righty, you too. I'll talk to you soon. Well, I guess we'll all be getting together soon anyway for getting prepared for convention.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not coming out for in person, but yeah,
Yeah.
I am registered, but yeah.
Yep.
See ya.
Okay, go.